There are 6 things that I have done that I like to share with coaches, and they're in the order in which you would use them. The first is that you want your communication to be congruent. What that means is that your body language and your words are saying the same thing. I think the easiest way that people understand this is thinking more about it on a personal level. If you have a spouse or children or somebody that you interact with at home and you're upset about something and they ask you what's wrong and you say, "Nothing, I'm fine." Well, your words are saying one thing, but your body language is probably telling them something different. And so when it comes to communicating with players, we need to be sure that our words and our body language are sending the same message, because when people listen to us, they first look to our body language to determine if it is aligned with our message. And if there's not congruency there, then it leaves a lot of misunderstanding on the table. And so the first is to be congruent. The second is to take ownership. And all that means is that when you share thoughts or opinions or feelings or direction with players, that you need to say it from your perspective, meaning it starts with "I think" or "I feel," and not saying it like "the team feels like this" or "people think you do this." Because when we do that, we're not taking ownership of our communication and it's not clear. From there, you want to focus on saying one thing at a time. Too often, we bundle up anywhere between 3 and 5 messages into one message, and we forget that people have a hard time remembering even just a single thing. And so when we're communicating multiple different points to somebody, I think we're giving them a lot more work than they can handle, no fault of their own. And so for coaches, it's important that when you're going to share a message, really take some time to think about what's the most important thing I need to share in this message, and try to focus only on sharing that one thing. Number 4 would be sharing facts first and then followed by opinions. And when we think about coach and player relationships, sometimes it's the other way around. When we're communicating, we need to focus first on sharing with our players, what did we objectively see, hear, or what do we factually know to be true? And then once we share that, then we can follow up with how that has made us feel or what our opinion about that is. Because then they won't get as defensive as I think we all tend to get when we have someone sharing an opinion right away without first laying down the facts of how they came to that opinion. So you want to be sure to share facts followed by opinions. Number 5 is to check for understanding. That means is that once you share an important message with a player, is to ask them to repeat back to you in their own words what they heard you say. We so often assume that the way we communicate it is clear because it makes sense to us, but we know that we all have different life experiences. We learn in different ways and we communicate different from one another. And so if your message is important enough, take some time when you're done to just ask them, and you can say it in a phrase like, "I'm not sure I'm relaying this in the way I want to. Could you tell me what you are hearing me say?" So that way the pressure isn't on them, but you get to check for understanding. And then the final thing is to be redundant. I think we often feel like we're annoying when we repeat the same thing over and over, but as we've learned and as you see in many different studies and from communication experts, is that people need to hear a message multiple times in order for it to resonate and for them to retain that information. It's that old adage, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. If your message is important enough, repeat it as often as you can. And so you know that it sticks and that your athletes will, and even parents sometimes will remember it when they need to.